The World Cup is just around the corner. Are we going to see a Messi back-to-back? Could Mbappe get his second freaking WC? Can Ronaldo finally say freaking what's up? First time winner? Or could this be the first time the curse is broken of a first non-European, non-South American? Let's talk about it. So look, man, the World Cup. So again, look, we have pretty much gotten, I'd say, I think 70 or 75%, I would say, of guys confirmed. So I know there are a few playoffs to go through. I think Italy in the playoffs as well. Again, Nigeria have a freaking inter-house cup plus another intercontinental playoff. So there's still some guys to go through. And I know that there'll be some players that will be happening in March. But the bulk of the teams from Europe, Asia, South America, North America, Europe, all of those guys, Africa, most of them have already been able to say what's up and have already booked their tickets officially to say what's up. And yes, the green, white, and green, we are still confirmed and we still have to pretty much navigate Gabon and everything. But as well, just to go through faves, because I think people have always said, who are the faves? Who do you think is going to win? And it's always very hard to say because the thing about this though is groupings. Who's in whose group? You could have a situation where if it's a France, Argentina, last 32 or last 16, that's interesting. If it's a Morocco, Portugal, last 16, that's interesting. Or an England, Portugal, or an England, Spain, last 16, that's interesting. So it all depends on groupings. But I'll just go through all the major guys, man. So first off, we've got to start with the defending champions, man. 1962. Why is that so significant? The last time a team went back-to-back was 1962. Why is it hard to go back in a World Cup more so than the Champions League? First of all, it's a World Cup. It is a very difficult competition to win. And international football is always difficult because there's pride, there's passion, and there is just a particular difficulty with navigating a WC. 4 years is a long time in football. 1 year is a pretty long time. 4 years, that's almost a cycle of football. So 4 years is a really long time in a football player's career. If a football player at 20 and 24, that's a long time. If a football player 24 and 28, that's a damn long time. So 24 is a very long time. So to think that Argentina are going to be exactly how they were in 2022, people say it's unlikely, but this is what is in Argentina's favor. So I'll tell you what's in their favor and what's not in their favor. What is in their favor is that it's a very young core. Julian Alvarez, pretty young. Enzo, pretty young. And some of their guys coming through are still pretty young guys. So it's a pretty young team. And also they'll be coming in this off the back of winning a Copa America. So the idea is Scaloni is still there. And this team is getting stronger. You see, it's harder if you've got like a pretty old team. Like a team that's pretty old, that's already past their peak, then it's going to be a lot harder. But when you have guys who were key guys in the win, but are young, it's very key. Julian Alvarez was one of the most important players for Argentina in that win. And he's still going to be in a prime age coming into this World Cup next summer. Another plus point is Messi. Messi isn't what he was 4 years ago, or 8 years ago, or 7 years ago. But the thing about a talent is what you lose in physicality, you gain in football IQ and footballing in intelligence. Because remember, De Boer said something very key. Frank De Boer, amazing defender, said that, you can do 5 things in 2 steps. If you're smart enough, you can do 5 things in 2 steps. So those really smart players and gifted players, they don't need to be super fast or super quick or super strong. You just need to be smart and be able just to make those right decisions and those right calls. Because football is all about decision making. The call to football is decision making, as in that's where it's either make a pass. That's why I make the run. Oh, nobody's looking at that space. I'm going to run into that space, hopefully receive the ball, and just that split second that I have of space, I can now execute a shot into the bottom left-hand corner. It's all about football IQ. And that is something that Messi will never lose. He'll lose his physicality. He's lost it. But he can never lose just his footballing intelligence. What's going to count against Argentina is Messi. Argentina, it's going to be very hard for Argentina to win the World Cup without a sizable contribution from Messi. But to expect him to contribute what he did in Qatar to the same degree is going to be asking much as he still has a football IQ, this is still a sport. And in any sport you play, you need a base level of physical athleticism that with age, because it's natural, with each year, you lose athleticism. That's biology. That's science. That's just life. So what could count against Argentina is how much can Messi contribute and how significant can he be specifically if they meet Spain, if they meet France, if they meet an England, if they meet a Morocco, a Japan, or any of these stronger sides. And also, as well, it is hard to go back to back. As in, 1962 is a long damn time. Shout out to your boy Garincha and Pele. It's 1960 is a long time. It's a long damn time. So everything history is against Argentina going back to back. But looking at the field, if Argentina have a good group and they can build into it, there is no team Argentina can't beat. There's no team that they can't beat. If they're to meet France again, that's going to be a tough game. They can beat France. They can beat Spain, England, Portugal. So any of the big teams, they can beat them. So what Argentina can rely upon is, no. Put us against any of these guys, we believe we can beat them. So that's always going to be very key. So yeah, that's the key thing, bro. France. So, 94, 98, 02. So 94, Romario with your boy Bebeto led Brazil to that World Cup in 94 in America. 98, my man back here, Brazil were the best team at that World Cup. And Ronaldo, in his first World Cup, was the best player at that World Cup. They poisoned him, and we all know what happened in our World Cup final. 02, Ronaldo came through with one knee. A grenaded knee, and he said, "What's up?" R9. No penalties, by the way. No penalties. It's a different. Like also, my goats, your goats were different. Like, see, my goats, we don't do penalties. We don't. Like Arnold was like, "Nah, I'm not doing penalties." So like semi-final, we didn't go. Final 2 goals, we don't do penalties. We navigated 90. We navigated 90. So my thing here is, I feel that France is going to be one of the favorites. They just are. Based on who they have, based on your boy Mbappe, Messi's daddy. And as much as I want to malign and insult Didier Deschamps, and as much as I want to, Didier Deschamps knows how to win games. And what you have to realize about the World Cup is that the World Cup is not about playing well. It's about being effective. The team that played the best football in 2006 was Argentina. Who won? Italy, because they were the most effective. The team that played the best football in 2010 was Germany. But who won it? Spain, because they were the most effective. The team I feel that played the best football in 2018, I feel, was Belgium. But who won it? France. The team that plays the best football doesn't always win. The team that is the most effective, more times than not, is a team that wins. It's not about playing amazing football. Again, 1970 was a rarity because that was the team that played the best football and they won. 1982 is perhaps the best team that has never won a World Cup. That team in 1982 with Socrates and Zico was an amazing team. But who won it? Italy, because Italy, with your boy Rossi, were just the most effective. So France are super effective. They just know how to win games, and they have game winners all over. So that is what will always count against them, because they've got one of the greatest World Cup players of all time in Mbappe. And the psychology of the team with Didier Deschamps is they're very effective. But the issue, though, is I don't think this France team is as strong as they were from 2018 to 2022. And I do feel that Giroud played an important role in that team, even if he wasn't a great striker. I feel whether it was Griezmann, Kante, Pogba, Matuidi, they were very important for the control and the structure of the team. So I just feel that certain key components that added to their effectiveness is missing, which means that if they run into a team that plays really good football, that is a lot more flamboyant, I think they will lose. Hence why when you saw that, if Pogba or Kante was on that pitch in the Euros, they beat Spain. 100% they beat Spain and they beat England. So for me, the reason why I say that as much as they still have effective guys and key guys, I think Didier Deschamps' reign has gone on too far. And I do feel like if that whole effectiveness thing, I don't think that's going to be enough for them to go all the way. For me, they can easily make another final. They can easily make another semi-final, very easily, just based on their talents. But I do feel they run into the wrong team who is playing well and growing into the tournament, they will lose. I feel if they run into an Argentina or Spain, if they run into an Argentina or Spain like in a semi-final, and those guys have been improving, slowly improving, I just think that by the virtue of them just playing a better brand of football, they will lose to those guys. But again, you just never know what France can do and what Mbappe can do, because of how effective they are. If Mbappe brings his World Cup form, then all bets are off. All bets are off. Spain. So here's my thing here. Many people believe these guys are going to win. So, and there's really, okay, let me go back. So, okay, so no, I'm trying to, so, well, okay. So it was Spain won Euros 08, then won the World Cup in 2010. But since then, when was the last time the Euro winner won? So, okay, so remember, 04, Greece, 06, Italy. So, okay, so Spain, 08 went to 2010. So, 2012 Spain, they didn't win it in 2016. Sorry, they didn't win it in 2014. 2016 Portugal, they didn't win it in 2018. 2020, 21 Italy, they didn't even freaking qualify. So, the notion of, they won the Euros doesn't mean that they'll transit. And what I always say to guys is that Europe is not the be-all and end-all. Spain, I feel, are perhaps the strongest team in Europe right now. What will Spain do if they run up against an African side? What will they do when they run up against a South American side? Because the threat an African or a South American side pose is far different than the other European sides. So Spain have Yamal. And I think with them having Yamal, that's always going to be huge. They're a very good team. They're a great unit. And they function very well as a whole. But I believe Spain will be favorites against any European side. I do believe that if Spain run into the wrong African side or the wrong South American side, they will lose. I do feel like if they will lose against the wrong South American or African side. So for me, I just don't see Spain as winners here. I think they can go far. They can definitely go far. But this is not the Euros. This is much harder than the Euros. This is a much harder boss than the Euros. And I just don't think that this team is fully equipped to navigate a World Cup and to go all the way and win a World Cup. I think they can go far. But I believe the wrong African or South American side beats them and knocks them out. But again, if everybody's fit, everybody's playing well, and Yamal can have the tournament of his life and can truly shine a light, they can say, what's up? If Yamal is not at his best, Spain have zero chance. They have zero chance. That is how important he is. It's a good team. It's a very good team without Yamal. It is a potential World Cup winner with a Yamal at his best. So if Yamal is there, playing at his best in terms of his creativity and his dribbling and his influence, sky's the limit. But I just still feel, even if that happens, though, I just don't see winners here. But it's all dependent on what a Yamal does. Because if Yamal has an amazing season for Barcelona and comes in great form and cannot take his football to the very next level, him knowing what the platform is, then it could be a very special World Cup. But I just don't, not sure that I see it happening, bro. Portugal. Hey, my guys here. So this is now where we get into the points of a first-time winner. So if there is to be a first-time winner, it's going to come from Portugal. not the Netherlands. Like people say, okay, the choice of the first time winner most likely you would say is Portugal or Netherlands. Netherlands, no chance, not a chance, not a chance. Portugal is the best chance of a first time winner. Can Portugal win the World Cup? Yes, they can win it because they have the talent. It's like, what's it called? Curacao cannot win the World Cup. They cannot. It's impossible. They can't. Portugal can because they have the talent. Will they? Would I put money on them too? No, I wouldn't. But the World Cup is a very funny thing. And again, it's all about momentum. Portugal have a strong squad. They just do. Whether I think they have pound for pound the best defender in the world in Nuno Mendes. So I think Nuno pound for pound is the best defender in the world in terms of just defending. I think they have a midfield that is functional in terms of guys that they can bring in and guys that they can start and guys with different talents. Attack is interesting. For me, again, rest in peace, Diego Jota is a big miss because he really added to the attack. And there's always the Cristiano question of, should Cristiano even be playing and of what influence can he have on this team? Cristiano has to be involved because he's still a goal scorer. But Portugal winning the World Cup will not depend on Cristiano. It just won't, no. Because he's just not that kind of player anymore. Portugal winning the World Cup will depend on how good the team is as a whole. It's just going to be a team effort. And it's so funny. The last time Portugal won a major trophy, it wasn't all on Cristiano. It was a team effort. So Portugal cannot rely on a 40-year-old to win this World Cup. That's just stupid. Specifically where Cristiano is now, which is not what it was in 2014. But he can contribute in terms of just scoring key goals and just trying to come clutch and key. But for Portugal to say what's up, they have to come in as a whole. I just feel that Portugal are just missing an X factor. And what it is just a very good team without an X factor. And normally, we go to the word effective. To be effective, you need an X factor. You need an X factor, and I think Portugal they just don't have that X factor. They just have talented players, but Portugal doesn't have that one truly exceptional player. Again, what's it called? Francisco Conceição is a great young player. João Neves, great young player, but they don't really have those truly exceptional X factor players out there. There is no Mbappe, there is no Yamal, there is no Julian Alvarez or Messi in this kind of a team. Or there's no a Cole Palmer or a Saka in this team. They don't have the X factor, and I think that's maybe their downfall. But again, you just never know that. Right run, right team. You could just have a situation where that they're just getting games done. They're making it happen. They're just winning games. And if they just find themselves in a semi or in a final, and Cristiano has a chance of just coming clutch in just in one game in New Jersey, who freaking knows? Who knows? Sorry. So England. Wait, hold on. Was that? Sorry, did I do this? Sorry, England. So here's the thinking. They've come so close, they're bound to win it eventually. I can agree with that in context, but then so we have to now look at it deeper. They've come so close. They've come so close. When was the last time that England beat a really top team at the best? So when I said England beat a France at a major tournament, a Spain at a major tournament, a Portugal at a major tournament, and Argentina at a major tournament, that's it. That's very key. Because yes, they made two finals. Look at the path to them making those two finals and look at who they faced or they beat to make those two finals. Again, you can only beat what's in front of you, which is very fair. To win any tournament, you have to beat an amazing team that plays well. There has never been a major tournament won by a team, especially internationally, where you've not had to beat a top team at the very best. Like in the Euros, they had to run into Italy, who were the best team of those Euros. At the last Euros, they had to run into a Spain, who were the best team of that tournament. And the last World Cup, they had to run into a France, who were defending champions. So the question is, England have they are one of the most talented squads. They have the talent to win this 100%. Kane, the goal scorer, Saka, what he's doing for Arsenal, Cole Palmer, all these guys, they have the ability to win this. And they have a guy who is a very effective manager, Thomas Tuchel, in just really getting things done. But the key question is, if England run into a Spain in the quarters, an Argentina in the quarters, a France in the quarters, would you put money on them beating those guys? I would not. Like, that's just not smart money. England, France, semi-final. Would I bet money on England? No. Can they beat them? Yes. Oh no, England are very capable of beating any team here because their talent is there. There is no team that is substantially better talent-wise than England. There isn't. So talent for talent, England can go toe-to-toe with any team. This isn't '06 where, England, you're not beating Brazil. You're not beating Italy. You're not beating Germany. No, it's not happening. But in 2026, England can beat anybody because there's no team talent-wise that is far better than them. But the question is, when it comes down to it, and Mbappe is on that pitch, will Mbappe lose to an England? If Messi is on that pitch, will Messi lose to an England? If Yamal is on that pitch, will Yamal lose to an England? And that's just the key question. And maybe that's where Thomas Tuchel comes in. Maybe that's where Thomas Tuchel comes in, because I've always thought Southgate was not the issue, but maybe prove me wrong. As you know, Southgate is one of the issues to players, but maybe Tuchel is the difference maker where what Southgate couldn't do against an Italy or Spain, Tuchel can do. Tuchel can be like, oh, I'm going to make that readjustment there. I'm going to make this change at halftime. Or I'm going to just make this readjustment in the 65th minutes. Or I'm going to bring in a substitution just to change the whole course of the game here on a tactical level that's to give us the edge, something that Southgate was unable to do. So maybe the answer to beating an Argentina, a Spain, or France in that quarter or semi is Tuchel. But but we are ways to see that. Until I see that and see, oh, Tuchel, this is where Southgate failed, and this is where Tuchel can succeed, and where England can go all the way. Until I see that, all I see is a very talented team that can go all the way, but I'm just not sure they beat an Argentina, a Spain, or a France in a quarter or a semi. Let's wait and see. Now, I want to just go to some outside guys now. So these are outside threats. So we've now gone from first-time winners to could we have the first non-South American, non-European? So as we all know, the World Cup has only been won by European and South American teams. Brazil 5, Italy 4, Germany 4. I don't think anybody has done 3. So I know. So obviously Argentina 2, France 2, Uruguay 2, and I think that's right. So I don't think So no one has won it 3 times. I don't believe so. So yeah, those are the numbers there. But there's never been a non-European or non-South American to win. For me, I feel that Japan holds one of the best chances to do so. Japan are getting better. And with each edition, they're improving. They made a huge leap, beating Germany and Morocco. So it was extremely subalashi by Japan. Go ask your Japanese friend what subalashi means, man. So origato gozaimasu. So they're getting better and they're improving. So you just feel like if with each World Cup edition, they're going to get better. I think this is too soon. And I just don't think they're there yet. But they are getting better. And what I said this like last time, which is football is changing. Football is becoming more tactical, more team-based, and less individual. When this was individual, Japan stood no chance because Ronaldo is going to decide the game. Zidane is going to decide the game. Del Piero is going to decide the game. And Japan just don't have those individuals. It's been less led by individuals, luxury players, and more so about team and the whole. And that plays in Japan. So anybody who knows Japan, has been to Japan, knows Japanese culture like I do, Japan is all about the whole. It's all about the hive. and their psychology is pass, 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 team play, team play, team play. Always make the right pass. When we make the right pass, we operate as a team. There is no room for individuality here. We operate as a unit. And in a footballing world that is going more towards a unit, that plays very well into Japan. But if somehow, some way, because it ain't Kubo, it ain't Kaoru from Brighton, if Japan forge a true superstar player, things could change. You put a truly exceptional world-class superstar player in this Japanese team, then all bets are off. Then they can really do something. So I think despite that, I just feel they run into a Spain, they run into a France, they run into an Argentina. The talent of those teams is going to beat them. But I think Japan should have beaten Croatia. Would they have beaten Brazil? I don't know. I don't know if they would have beaten Brazil. But I just think that for Japan, they're getting better and better. And I do feel eventually, maybe 2030, maybe 2034, you may see a Japan in a semi or even a final as they come and keep on knocking on the door. I just think that this is too early. It's too early for them to win it. But I'm very interested just to see their improvements and what they're able to do in this audition based on just the incredible achievement they made at that last World Cup. And then we have the hope for Africa, Morocco. So I think I was reading something. I think it was like, I believe the Morocco under 20 team are through to the World Cup final, under 20 final. And they beat Spain's unbeaten streak, which was, I think, 17. So the future of the presence of Moroccan football is strong. The future is very strong. The first African team to make a semi-final, so they broke that barrier. Ghana came so close in 2010. Senegal came very close in 2002, but Morocco beat that barrier and got to the semi-final. Close game against France. Can Morocco win the World Cup? No. They can't win it. I was going to say, I just think they can. But can they shock the world again? Why not? Why not? Can they go on a run again? Why not? Because they had an excellent qualification. Excellent qualification. Again, you can only beat what's in front of you, but just going into the World Cup with the psychology of you maintain high excellence is key. Now, what's going to be very interesting is in December is the AFCON held in Morocco. And it's been a long time since they've won that. So if Morocco win that AFCON on home soil, I think mentally, psychologically, it would be a great boost going into this World Cup. But again, obviously, I'm going to do a video on Africa specifically, talking just about Africa's chances. But I think Morocco probably hold the best chance to say what's up. Because again, look, they did what they did 4 years ago. Like they beat Spain. They beat Portugal. 2 teams that people thought Morocco would not beat, and they beat them. And I remember that France game. It was a close game. Like France did not completely overpower them. Yes, it was 2-0, but again, like Moani scored like in the last few minutes. But so it was 1-0 for a very long time. And what it was, France literally just beat them on experience like that. And I do believe that is what they'll be missing. Is if they meet a France, Argentina, Spain, I brought a book record. If they just miss like the usual suspects, I just think the experience of those guys, of knowing how to navigate these things, is going to count against them. But if Morocco can just go in there in good form, get a good group, build into the tournaments, get a winnable last 32, a winnable last 16, and keep on getting better, I think if they do run up against a big dog in a last 8, in a last 4, anything can happen in football. It's football. And that's why it's called football. Anything can happen in football. So I just feel if they can grow into the tournament, why can't they shock people again? And why can't they just say, let's just go one step forward and make it to that final? So yeah, look, they carry Africa's best hope. And I think if they can just do what they did 4 years ago, but just add a better decision making. I think is it Unda or one of those guys, or is it Unda who more? But if they could just I think is the guy. I think it's the Abde player who plays for Betis, quality player. But if they can just improve decision making wise, footballing wise, and just be a lot more braver, believe in themselves, and just because again, football is all about belief. If they just believe they can say what's up, I think they can shock guys again. I think it's very possible. So again, look, I don't know who's going to win, but I'm excited. I'm excited as to what's going to happen because anything can happen in this football. Hopefully, Nigeria will be there. Personally, for me, it would be great to have a first-time winner. It would be great to be a first-time winner, and I think it would be even more amazing if it's not only a first-time winner, but it's the first time we have a non-European, non-South American winner. What if Pulisic lifts up that trophy?
Think about becoming a Football Hut member. If you're a desktop merchant, just click on the join button below, over here. Or if you're a mobile phone merchant, just click on the join button below the video over here and join the true elite content crack addicts. Peace.